A story of Donald Trump's unconventional leadership. New York City, 1987. The Manhattan skyline glittered under a crisp autumn sky, and in the heart of it all stood Donald Trump, his gaze fixed on the skeletal frame of what would become Trump Tower. At 41, he was already a household name, a brash, unapologetic mogul who turned dilapidated properties into gold. Critics called him reckless, admirers called him a visionary. To Trump, it was simple: think big, act bigger. His office was a shrine to ambition. Gold-plated pens, glossy magazine covers bearing his face, and a framed Forbes headline, "The Art of the Comeback." The 1990s nearly broke him, billions in debt, tabloid scandals, and skeptics predicting his downfall. But Trump clawed back, renegotiating loans, reviving casinos, and branding his name on everything from skyscrapers to steaks. "You don't lose until you quit," he'd say, a mantra that would later define his political rise. June 16, 2015, Trump Tower, 5th Avenue. The escalators hummed as reporters jostled for space. Trump descended, his signature red tie blazing against a navy suit. The crowd erupted, a mix of cheers and jeers. He gripped the podium, squinting at the teleprompter before tossing it aside. "Let's just talk," he grinned. What followed was a speech that rewrote political playbooks. He called Mexican immigrants rapists, vowed to build a great wall, and mocked rivals as losers. The media exploded. "Clown!" screamed one headline. "Finally, someone who says it like it is," argued a factory worker in Ohio. Trump's campaign was a circus, a war on political correctness. He tweeted at 3 a.m., feuded with Fox News, and held rallies that felt like rock concerts. Blue-collar workers, weary of layoffs and opioid crises, flocked to him. "He's not polished, but he's real," said a coal miner in West Virginia. On election night, pundits scoffed as Florida turned red. Then Michigan. Then Pennsylvania. By dawn, Trump stood in the White House, a billionaire outsider holding the nuclear codes. January 20, 2017, Inauguration Day. "America first, America first." The crowd chanted as Trump took the oath. He promised factories, jobs, and a return to winning. The Dow Jones soared. CEOs praised his tax cuts, small businesses cheered deregulation. Unemployment hit 50-year lows, and wages rose, especially for minorities. "The Trump boom is real," declared a black entrepreneur in Atlanta. Not all applauded. Protesters painted him a tyrant, but Trump leaned into the chaos. At the UN, he mocked rocketman Kim Jong-un, then shook his hand in Singapore. He tore up NAFTA, replacing it with USMCA, and brokered the Abraham Accords, a Middle East peace deal even critics called historic. "Nobody thought it could happen," admitted a retired diplomat. The people's president. Trump's rallies became folklore. He cracked jokes, endorsed UFO conspiracies, and handed out MAGA hats like candy. In Dayton, Ohio, he hugged a sobbing mother whose son died from fentanyl. "We'll stop this poison," he vowed. Weeks later, China agreed to curb opioid exports. His bluntness backfired, too. The Access Hollywood tape nearly sank him, but evangelicals stood firm. "God uses imperfect people," a pastor argued. When COVID-19 hit, Trump greenlit Operation Warp Speed, slashing red tape to deliver vaccines in record time. He moved mountains, admitted a Pfizer executive privately. January 20, 2021, farewell. Snowflakes dusted the Capitol as Trump boarded Marine One last time. He left with no wars, a roaring economy, pre-pandemic, and a cult-like following. At a diner in Iowa, a waitress wiped tears. "He fought for us," she said. Critics sighed in relief, but Trump's shadow lingered. He'd shattered norms, exposed media bias, and proved outsiders could conquer Washington. Love him or hate him, he was unforgettable. As the helicopter faded into the gray, a farmer in Kansas shrugged. "Say what you want," he made politics interesting. Epilogue, the legacy. Years later, historians still debated Trump. Was he a demagogue or a disruptor? A con man or a champion? For millions, he was the man who dared to say no to the establishment, and yes to a forgotten America. They called me a carnival barker, Trump once joked, but carnivals are fun, right?